Welcome back to the Irish Bandit channel, or if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I, as always, am your host, the one, the only, the second Irish Bandit. We are in the home stretch now. We are talking about my second all-time favorite movie. If you missed number three, you're going to see a link right there for number three, because number two and number three kind of go hand in hand, or no, they do go hand in hand, because for my third favorite movie, it was Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day. The movie we're talking about today is the first movie in that series. Yes, we're talking about, and it's funny because this movie for the longest time was my all-time favorite movie until the movie that came in at number one came out, and then that just kind of took it over from there. Something a lot of people thought was going to be impossible, but I absolutely love this movie. This is just one of the most action-packed action movies that I have ever seen. It boasts a great cast, including the likes of Sean Patrick Flanery, Norman Reedus, Billy Connolly, and Willem Dafoe, or as we've seen in a video that just surfaced, calling himself William Dafoe. But we know him better as Willem Dafoe. Great action movie. Came out in 1999 amid a bunch of controversy, but still found its niche in the home video market. Coming in at number two, The Boondock Saints. Boondock Saints was released in January of 2000 and is written and directed by Troy Duffy, making his feature film directorial debut, I should say. He has a small role in the movie, like a small cameo at the very beginning of the movie. It was produced by Elie Semaha, Lloyd Sagan, Robert Fried, and the late Chris Brinker. Again, stars Willem Dafoe, Sean Patrick Flanery, Norman Reedus, David Delarocco, Billy Connolly, and just a whole bunch of great actors in this movie as well, including Carlo Rota. Who else? Oh, and then you have the three cops that I talked about in the last movie, played by, I'm drawing a blank on their names, Bob Marley, David Ferry, and, I should know this one, Brian Mahoney. That's it. Just wonderful, and the way they play off of Willem Dafoe is just beautiful. Music by Jeff Dana, production companies Franchise Pictures, Brood Syndicate, Fried Films, Lloyd Sagan Company, Chris Brinker Productions. It cost $6 million to make, but it is the lowest grossing movie on this list, but there's a reason for that. It only grossed over $30,000. Now, the reason for that is because there was a bit of controversy around this movie, because this movie was released around the same time as the Columbine tragedy. So, as you can tell, violence in media was taking a severe hit because of what happened, and Boondock Saints was supposed to have a theatrical release, but never was released in theaters because of what happened, but it found its life on home video. The plot of the movie is that two twin brothers living in South Boston, just normal workaday guys who are just kind of fed up with seeing all the injustice happen and just seeing people walk away. They even tell their friend Rocco this after their first big hit, how they were just tired of watching all these people get out on bail or just walk and not be punished for it. They feel they are on a mission from God to punish the wicked and bring them to justice. There was just something that resonated with this movie, that resonated within me, and something I know we've all felt in our lives when we see these things play out and these just horrible, horrible people not face justice. Like, why doesn't somebody just go off them and just be done with it? I know I've felt that. I'm sure a lot of other people have felt that as well. So let's talk about what did I love about the Boondock Saints. So I'm going to have a lot of the same praises and a lot of the same criticisms that I had with Boondock Saints 2, with Boondock Saints. I love the chemistry between the cast. The chemistry between Sean Patrick Flanery and Norman Reedus was just there. There's just something between the two of them that you absolutely love, that I absolutely love. Then you throw in Willem Dafoe, who is the veteran on the set. Oh, him and Billy Connolly were the veterans on the set, because at this point, oh, I don't know how long either of them had been acting at this point. It had to be at least 10 years that both Sean Patrick Flannery and Norman Reedus had been acting. But when you have somebody with the caliber of Willem Dafoe, who was in such great movies beforehand, including Platoon, Last Temptation of Christ, just a rap sheet a mile long of great movies he's been in. Then you add somebody like Billy Connolly, who's basically pretty well known for being a stand-up comedian, but just has this dark turn as Il Duce. It's just, wow, he scared me in this movie. First time I watched it, he scared the crap out of me, which is funny because, you know, always seeing Billy Connolly in these comedic roles, you wouldn't think about that. But I also think about, you have a classically trained actor in Robert Englund playing one of the biggest horror icons of all time in Freddy Krueger, and meeting the man firsthand. He's one of the nicest guys you've ever met. And so I kind of, you know, it's that kind of thing with Billy Connolly, you know, being just this funny guy and just having this dark role as this silent assassin. And he was just wonderful in it. And then also, you know, you add David Della Rocca, who is not a well-known name in acting circles, but only got this role because of his friendship with Troy Duffy. So he's pretty much playing himself in this whole movie. Even the character is named David Della Rocca. But there's a chemistry between him, Sean Patrick Flannery, and Norman Reedus where you believe that they're all friends with each other, because they probably are friends in real life as well. So you believe it. There's something real to it. I love the grittiness of this movie, and it's something I talked about in Boondock Saints 2, where All Saints Day had that Hollywood grit to it. You know, it was kind of gritty, but also had that shiny varnish on it. There was a grit to this movie that I absolutely enjoyed and loved. There was just, it was dirty, it was grungy, it's like grunge music. A movie version of grunge music is the best way that I can describe it. And then, honestly, I'm not a big fan of the genre, but I have my favorites, you know, Soundgarden, Nirvana, of course, but there was just something, it was counterculture, something different than what Hollywood was churning out at the time, even to this very day, different than what Hollywood's been churning out as well. And you can feel there was kind of realism to it, which is something that I really enjoy, really appreciate to it as well. But for as much praise as I heap on it, it has its faults that you cannot get past. I'm going to talk about those right now. Is Boondock Saints one of my favorite movies? Absolutely. Do I love it? You better believe it. Do I think it is a well-made movie? No. It is far from a well-made movie. And you can tell that this is Troy Duffy's first attempt at directing a movie and first attempt at writing a script. A lot of the dialogue just does not work. Some of the choreography and action scenes just is not great. And there's just, sometimes the grittiness can work against it. But even with all that said, I still absolutely love this movie. Now, what do I think is a great movie? Well, you look at movies like, for me, The Godfather. I think, now this is personal opinion, it may not be in my top 10 or my top 30. It's still a movie I absolutely love to this very day. I think Jaws is the best movie ever made. I'm not gonna lie. It may not be in my favorites, but I think it is one of the best movies ever made. Just, you know, setting, cinematography, dialogue, direction, the casting of guys like Roy Scheider and Hooper, Hooper, oh God, Richard, Richard Dreyfuss, that's it. The casting of the movie was just so well done. Like I said, I think that is one of the best movies, if not the best movie ever made. Do I think that Boondock Saints is the best movie ever made? No, I don't. It is, like I said, from those aspects, it is not a good movie, but there's, like I said, there's a charm to it that I absolutely love. And yeah, there it may not have all that polish and varnish to it, but there's still something charming about it and still something engaging about it that I still love to this very day. The first time I heard about this movie was on an internet radio station. I didn't know what to think about it. And I'm listening to the description of this movie. I don't think it's something that I get into. But we had just gotten like a new cable service that had on-demand movies. One of the free movies that was on there was Boondock Saints. So here I am asking my parents, "Was it okay if I watch this one?" And they're like, "Robert, you're 22 years old. Of course you can watch a movie, an R-rated movie." Ooh. So I watched it for the first time on the streaming service, and the movie absolutely blew me away. Now, there's great acting in this movie. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Willem Dafoe in this movie. He just does an outstanding job. And Sean Patrick Flannery, Norman Reedus, everybody gives it their all. But again, there are just things about this movie that you can't look past. Like the dialogue, it's just not there totally. Sometimes things go off on a rambling tangent and it just drags on. But all my gripes aside, I still absolutely love this movie. And for the longest time, yeah, it was my favorite movie of all time. Like there was even a point where I thought V for Vendetta was going to beat it. But that never happened. And yeah, The Dark Knight couldn't even touch it. But another movie came along that you're going to flip when you hear it if you don't know my top favorite movie of all time. But we'll get to that one on Thursday. But all its faults aside, The Boondock Saints is just it's a popcorn flick. Honestly and truthfully, you sit down with a bucket of popcorn, you watch the movie, and you're entertained for the hour and a half it's on. And you'll find something to like about it. There's just a charm to it, a wit to it, and just everything just works for it. Everything just works to its advantage, and it's just a fun movie. Violent, lots of swear words. It's not one to watch around the kids, but I mean, if you're just looking to shut your brain off for an hour and a half, this is the perfect movie to do it. Boondock Saints isn't for everyone, so go into it cautiously with an open mind, and if there's something in there you enjoy, you're gonna have a fun time watching it. If you watch the entire movie and you're like, "Oh, this is a horrid piece of crap," there's nothing I can say to make you change your mind about it. But I absolutely love it. It is one of my favorites. Of course, it's number 2 on my all-time favorites list. And it's one that I try to watch around St. Patrick's Day of every year. So I kind of had a little tradition start with my ex-girlfriend because I showed this movie to her and she absolutely loved it. And so we had a little tradition going on for the longest time where we'd watch that and make Irish stew and just make a day of it. So, but yeah. I think there's something in there for everyone to like, but it's not for everyone. So go in with an open mind. You might have a good time. You might be turned off by it. It's all how you look at it. But what did you think of Boondock Saints? Let me know in the description down below or in the comment section down below. Don't. While you're down there, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. In the description, you're going to see a link to all of my social media, including my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, my Redbubble store where you can pick up all your Irish Bandit merchandise, anything your heart's desire. You can get at the Irish Bandit shop on redbubble.com. If you're new here, don't forget to tap that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, tap the bell and you'll be notified whenever a brand new video goes live. Here we are, my all-time favorite movie. What is it? It is a complete departure from Boondock Saints and Boondock Saints 2. Some of you may know what it is already. Some of you may not. You'll find out on Thursday what it is. And then on Tuesday, I will be back with a brand new review of a Netflix series that I just watched. It is the spin-off to one of my favorite Netflix series, Big Mouth. It's called Human Resources. We'll be talking about that. Then on Thursday, I will be back with a DDLC mod review of my favorite Monica-based mod, Monica After Story. And then on Tuesday, following that, I've got a huge announcement for a brand new long-form monthly limited series. That is a mouthful to get through. We're going to be talking about it on Tuesday, and that's just going to be a quick little video, nothing too big about it. But we will talk about that in a couple weeks. So yeah, join me again Thursday when I reveal what my #1 favorite movie of all time is. Until then, take care.